You think you know Contact? Think again. The White House sent an angry letter 3 days before release. Jodie Foster spent days crying at a tennis ball.
I think she's a very brave character.
Brave? Really? CNN's CEO publicly called their involvement a mistake. And the man who spent 17 years fighting to make this film? He died 7 months before anyone could see it.
This very, very complicated.
Today, we're exposing 14 hidden truths behind Contact, including a deep fake that infuriated the president, a lawsuit from Francis Ford Coppola, and the hidden detail in the ending that most viewers completely miss. Let's get into it. 1. The Bill Clinton deepfake got the White House furious. 3 days before Contact premiered, Warner Brothers received a very angry letter from the White House. Here's what happened. Director Robert Zemeckis used real footage of President Bill Clinton from an August 1996 press conference and digitally edited it to make Clinton appear to be discussing the alien signal in the movie. In reality, Clinton had been talking about a Mars rock that might contain evidence of ancient bacteria. The White House was not amused. White House counsel Charles Ruff called the appearance inappropriate. Press Secretary Mike McCurry argued there's a huge difference when the president's image is used in a way that makes viewers believe he said something he never actually said.
That science has ever uncovered.
Warner Brothers admitted they never received formal permission. They'd sent scripts and a finished print to the administration, but never got a release. The scene remains in every copy of the film to this day. Imagine getting a cease and desist from the actual President of the United States 3 days before your premiere. 2. CNN journalists created an ethics disaster. This one nearly destroyed careers. Contact featured 13 real CNN reporters and anchors playing themselves: Larry King, Bernard Shaw, Bobby Batista, and more. They appeared throughout the movie reporting on the alien contact as if it were real news. It caused a massive ethics scandal. The problem was simple. It blurred the line between real journalism and fiction. Viewers could genuinely become confused about what was authentic CNN coverage. CNN CEO Tom Johnson initially approved the participation. He saw it as good cross-promotion during the summer months. But after the controversy exploded, Johnson publicly admitted it was a mistake. His exact words, "The decision created the impression that CNN is manipulated by Time Warner," since both CNN and Warner Brothers were owned by the same parent company. Eric Ober, former president of CBS News, piled on, "It blurs the line between fact and fiction and erodes the credibility of journalists." Johnson eventually required that any future movie appearances by CNN staff would need clearance from CNN's ethics group, all because they wanted some summer cross-promotion. 3. The famous mirror shot wasn't a camera trick. You know this scene. Young Ellie runs up the stairs to get medicine. It appears to be one continuous shot until we suddenly realize everything we've been watching was a reflection in a bathroom cabinet mirror. Here's the secret. There was no mirror. The entire sequence was constructed through inventive compositing using multiple shots and blue screen. A Steadicam operator with a VistaVision camera strapped to his chest ran backward up the stairs in front of Gina Malone. The shot ramped from 24 to 48 frames per second to create the slow motion effect as Ellie reaches the bathroom. The medicine cabinet had a blue screen where the mirror should be. Visual effects supervisor Ken Ralston's team composited the two shots together seamlessly, the cabinet handle appearing from the lower left as the camera pulled back. They even had to digitally paint out the focus puller who was visible in the original footage. Zemeckis wanted to represent Ellie's torment without showing her dying father on screen. The impossible shot achieves exactly that. And it's all editing magic. No mirror required. 4. They digitally changed Gina Malone's eye color in every single frame. Here's a detail nobody notices. Gina Malone, who played young Ellie, has brown eyes. Jodie Foster has blue eyes. That's a problem when they're playing the same character. The solution? The visual effects team digitally color-corrected Gina Malone's eyes to blue in every single frame she appeared in. Every single frame. In 1997, this was painstaking work. Digital color correction was still new and time-consuming. The process required going through thousands of frames, carefully adjusting only the eye color without affecting surrounding facial features or lighting. The effect was so seamless that even film critics analyzing Contact frame by frame didn't catch it. Most viewers have no idea they're watching digitally altered eyes. That's how good it is. 5. Carl Sagan died before the film was released. This is the heartbreaking one. Carl Sagan wrote the novel Contact and had been fighting to get it made since 1979. 17 years. He and his wife, Anne Druyan, wrote the original film treatment and spent years developing the project with various studios and directors. In 1994, Sagan was diagnosed with myelodysplasia, a rare bone marrow disease. He fought it for 2 years, undergoing 3 bone marrow transplants. On December 20th, 1996, Sagan died of pneumonia at the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center in Seattle. He was 62 years old. The film was still in post-production. Contact wouldn't be released until July 11th, 1997, 7 months after his death. The movie ends with a simple dedication. 2 words appear on screen at the fade. For Carl. 17 years of work. He never saw the finished film. 6. Jodie Foster called it her hardest acting challenge. Picture this: Jodie Foster sitting in a chair, shaking, hyperventilating, crying at a tennis ball on a stick for days. That was the space travel sequence. Foster was alone in front of a blue screen with nothing to react to except that tennis ball representing where the alien wormhole would eventually be in the final composite. She later said it was the hardest acting challenge of her entire career. No other actors to feed off, no physical sets, no environment, just her imagination while technicians shook her chair and pointed lights at her face. The final sequence lasts several minutes on screen and features stunning visual effects. Foster had to maintain intense emotional states for hours of filming against nothing but blue. Her performance had to be powerful enough to carry scenes that would later be filled with spectacular CGI. She pulled it off, but it cost her. 7. Almost every shot of the sky is digital. This one surprised me. Director Robert Zemeckis wanted the stars and clouds in Contact to look painterly and slightly surreal, so the visual effects team replaced the real sky in almost all outdoor shots. Almost all of them. Even scenes that appear to be simple location filming, actors just standing outside, have digitally composited skies. The filmmakers felt real skies didn't have the epic, otherworldly quality they wanted for a film about first contact. The digital skies were carefully crafted to have a dreamlike, heightened reality quality without being obviously fake. This was ambitious for 1997. Digital compositing was still challenging and expensive. Most viewers assume they're looking at real location photography. They're actually seeing heavily manipulated imagery in nearly every outdoor frame. Zemeckis controlled the mood of every single exterior shot. That's obsessive. That's filmmaking. 8. The opening zoom took months to create. The opening scene pulls back from Earth through the solar system and beyond to the edge of the observable universe. Radio signals fade as we move away from Earth. It's approximately 3 minutes long, continuous. At the time, it was the longest single CG shot ever created. The sequence took months of work from multiple visual effects houses. Industrial Light and Magic, Sony Pictures Imageworks, and Weta Digital all contributed to various effects in the film. It had to be scientifically accurate. The solar system, the Milky Way, deep space structures all depicted correctly, while also being visually stunning. The shot established the massive scale of the universe and humanity's tiny place within it. That was essential to Carl Sagan's vision. 3 minutes doesn't sound long, but in 1997, creating 3 minutes of continuous scientifically accurate space travel was groundbreaking. 9. Francis Ford Coppola sued. During production, on December 28, 1996, 8 days after Carl Sagan died, Francis Ford Coppola filed a lawsuit against Warner Brothers and Sagan's estate. The timing was brutal. Coppola claimed that Sagan's novel was based on a story they had developed together for a 1975 television special called First Contact. Under their original agreement, they were supposed to split proceeds from the project and from any novel Sagan would write. The TV program was never produced, but in 1985, Simon & Schuster published Contact as a novel, and Warner moved forward with the film. Coppola sought at least $250,000 in damages and an injunction against production or distribution. In February 1998, Judge Ricardo Torres dismissed the claim. The judge agreed Sagan had violated some contract terms, but Coppola had waited too long to file. By then, Contact had already been released and become a box office success. Sometimes timing is everything. Sometimes it works against you. 10. They digitally added canyons around the real VLA. The Very Large Array Radio Telescope facility in New Mexico is where Ellie discovers the alien signal. The filmmakers shot at the real VLA. One problem? The actual VLA sits on a completely flat plane. No drama, no visual interest. Zemeckis wanted the location to look more isolated and impressive. So the visual effects team digitally added massive canyons and dramatic geological formations around the satellite dishes. Those towering rock formations? CGI. The digital matte paintings were seamlessly integrated with live-action footage of the real facility. Most viewers assumed they were seeing actual New Mexico landscape. They were looking at a heavily altered version of reality. This kind of invisible visual effect is everywhere in Contact. The movie feels grounded and real, but almost nothing on screen is unmanipulated. 11. Matthew McConaughey was cast to make religion sexy. In Carl Sagan's novel, Palmer Joss is much older and a more rigid religious fanatic. The film version is different. The filmmakers cast Matthew McConaughey specifically to create a sexy religious philosopher and generate romantic tension with Jodie Foster. McConaughey dropped out of the lead role in The Jackal to take this part. Sagan wasn't thrilled. The change softened the religious opposition to science that was central to his novel. But the studio felt a romantic subplot would make the film more commercially appealing. McConaughey's Palmer Joss became a thoughtful, questioning spiritual figure rather than a dogmatic opponent. It changed the entire dynamic of the science versus faith debate running through the story. The chemistry between Foster and McConaughey became one of the film's emotional anchors. Whether that's a good trade-off depends on who you ask. 12. The machine sound was a washing machine. The massive alien-designed machine that transports Ellie through space has those distinctive, otherworldly sounds as its 3 enormous rings spin up. You're hearing a washing machine. The sound designers recorded a washing machine, then slowed it down and manipulated the audio using Pro Tools, which was still relatively new in film post-production at the time. The spinning, humming, grinding noises that accompany the machine's activation, all derived from a household appliance. The machine's visual design was inspired by ancient astrolabes combined with futuristic technology. The sound designers wanted audio that felt both familiar and completely alien. A washing machine was perfect. Its mechanical rhythms are recognizable on a subconscious level but can be transformed into something far more mysterious. Next time you watch that scene, listen carefully. That's your laundry. 13. The 18 hours of static confirms Ellie's journey. Here's the detail most viewers miss entirely. The film ends with the government claiming nothing happened during the machine test. Ellie's experience was a delusion. Case closed. Except there's a crucial piece of evidence. Ellie's recording equipment shows 18 hours of static, the exact duration she claimed to have been gone, even though everyone else witnessed only a few seconds. This physical proof vindicates her story, but the government officials choose to withhold it from Ellie and the public. The 18-hour recording is mentioned in a private conversation between 2 government officials. They know something unexplainable occurred. They're covering it up. This detail transforms the ending. It's not about faith versus evidence. It's about evidence being deliberately suppressed. Carl Sagan believed science should guide our understanding of reality. He also understood that sometimes proof can be hidden for political reasons. Watch the ending again. Listen to that conversation. It changes everything. 14. They removed the pie message from the book. The novel's ending is completely different and far more mind-bending. In Carl Sagan's book, Ellie discovers a hidden message buried deep within the digits of pi. When she calculates pi to trillions of decimal places, she finds a pattern, a circle perfectly inscribed inside a square, encoded in binary. The implication is staggering. The universe itself was artificially created by some vastly ancient intelligence that embedded messages in the fundamental constants of mathematics. Reality was designed. The movie cut this revelation entirely, leaving the ending far more ambiguous. The filmmakers felt the pie message would be too difficult to dramatize visually and might undercut the film's themes about faith and evidence. Removing it also let the film end on Ellie's personal journey rather than making a definitive cosmic statement. The change disappointed fans who loved Sagan's concept, proof that reality was engineered, hidden in mathematics itself, waiting for any civilization intelligent enough to find it. It's a stunning idea, and it never made it to screen. So which detail about Contact shocked you the most? The White House sending an angry letter 3 days before premiere? Jodie Foster crying at a tennis ball for days? Carl Sagan dying 7 months before seeing his 17-year dream reach theaters? Or that hidden detail in the ending, 18 hours of static that proves everything? Drop your answer in the comments, subscribe, and hit that bell. We've got more classic sci-fi secrets coming. See you in the next one.